everybody but Sean on the show usually plays it straight and is not funny and doesn't try and doesn't compete with him for humor. And when they first, James called me, I've known him, he said, would you come and, and be the coroner, be our coroner? I said, yeah, and he said, you can do whatever you want, you can improvise, you can goof off. Well, he was telling me that, but maybe he was speaking out of school, because I'm sure they want me, I'm sure even to this day, they want me to be a little more straight-laced and a little more straight, but that's not how I roll, It's just not how I roll, and I can't do it that way. I mean, there's always, you go on any of these shows, the coroner is always either neurotic or quirky or this, and I didn't want to do any of that, but I wanted to play just somebody who's actually very smart and funny and self-referential and was in on his own jokes rather than the object of jokes, because that's what they can't have they don't want a dull coroner, or they can have the coroner with a cigarette out of his mouth and he's like, yeah, we got another dead body and I'm cutting him open. Or the coroner who's like, well, this, that, they're sort of geeks or technophiles or whatever. But I just wanted like a guy, hey, he could have run a nightclub, but he's a coroner. So that's what I went for. So it's fun.
Did you add bringing your lunch and having your lunch on the cadaver?
Yes, I have. Yes, I did do that. And there was one where the funniest thing I think I ever did was there was a cadaver, and I was saying he was cut with a knife, and they were saying, what kind of knife? And so I got a Sharpie, and I started drawing the knife on the guy, and he'd been eaten by a shark, and I went, oh my God, what am I doing? This is half a man. And I found that to be very funny.
What's your favorite thing about playing Woody?
Woody doesn't have a filter. I have a big filter in my life because there's so many, I'm sure you all do, so many things you want to say that you don't say. And Woody does not have that. He says whatever he wants. And people just, most of the time he says it to an empty room and a dead body. But if people happen to come in, they hear it too. I think it's something about being alone a lot and with somebody who doesn't answer. It's sort of like the thing with Tom Hanks and the soccer ball. That's the bodies are my soccer balls, and I just talk to them. And since no one ever says, "What are you insane?" They never answer back. I just say whatever I want now.
Let's talk a little bit about the differences between playing Woody and playing Zachariah.
Zachariah has, I say has because angels never die. Zachariah has a belief system where he thinks he's right, he knows what he's doing is best, and he knows that if people would just listen to him, he could save the world. Woody has no belief system. He doesn't know if anything he says is right, and he doesn't care. So they're completely antithetical to each other. And that's what I love playing. And Zachariah is compact, tight, nothing out of place. And Woody, if he needs oiling every once in a while. He's all over the place. And Zachariah is the traditional thing I got hired because I started out playing bad guys. I played a lot of bad guys. Woody is what I'm trying to go towards, which is people who live in the light more than they live in the dark, because I find it more fun. It's who I am more now that I have a family, and now that I'm not worried about being a failed actor like I used to, I just have a more lightness and a more receptive thing, and I think that's why I'm getting roles like this more. Because when they say the camera doesn't lie, it does not lie. And if you're a dark person, it will not. Would never be able to get this role and be successful at it 5 years ago. That's what I think.
You would say pretty much what you are is how you'll be cast, if more often than not.
And you can't pretend to be something else. You can pretend, but they won't buy it.
Are there any plans for you to return to Supernatural as that character at some point?
Well, they just asked me for permission to use something for a show, and I will say there are no plans, but I, for some reason, wouldn't be shocked if it happened. It all depends on how they feel about how this last season went. If they feel like last season was a great departure and it went great, I will not. But if they feel like, geez, boy, we took a right turn and we should have made it a slow curve, and I don't know, because I'm not privy to what goes on in the writers' room.
What do you think the funniest death Woody has had to deal with thus far is?
There was Woody. Boy, I don't know. It was cut out. I was cut out by USA, rightfully so, because it's a family network. But I will tell you, this is sort of behind the scenes. Woody was suspicious that there was the one where we thought a bear killed somebody, that I had checked if the bear had sexual relations with the cadaver, and I was able to conclusively say that it had not, that it had not been a factor in the death. So that was the funniest potential death, but alas, did not make it, and you can understand why.
Do you get to do ad-libbing on set when you play?
I do. They don't use much of it, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. I mean, if they go with what works, and they are excellent writers. So I have to say, most of the time, I don't ad-lib because I'm not going to come up with anything funnier. I don't think I'm the funniest guy in the world. But if something strikes you in the moment, like I did a movie with Tracy Morgan, who does nothing but ad-lib, and his comment was, comedy is Mercury running downhill, and you've got to be really quick to catch it. And it's like every once in a while you get it. And that's sort of how I look at it. So every once in a while something works, but most of the time it doesn't, really.
Do you watch the episodes after you're in them?
I watch a lot of them. I don't watch them all because I have kids to put to bed and things like that. But I was a fan of the show before I did it. And Maggie is my neighbor. James and I have known each other forever. Tim and I just know all these people. Corbin and I did LA Law together 26 years ago. So, they're my friends, and yeah, I watch it, and I think the show, to me, this is not a show I make a lot of money on, okay? This is a show I do, and I insist, even when my agents go, well, they want you to do this for more, I always go, no, I'm going to do Psych, because for me, it's like doing when I do plays. It makes you a better actor, and it reinvigorates why you became an actor, because a lot of the stuff you get paid to do, you sort of go, God, why am I doing? Oh, the money, that's right. And this is not one of those. So
rather than taking the paycheck, you'd rather self-fulfill and be happy.
Yes, but there's a selfish reason for it too. It's I'm 57 now. I've been doing it a long time. It renews my sense of hope and my enthusiasm about being an actor. And at my age, I need that. Because pretty soon I'm just going to be playing grandpa who wears Depends. Because in showbiz, on TV, when you're 57, you're a grandfather with age issues. So, okay.
So you said that you don't think that you're the funniest person on the cast. Who do you think is the funniest
James
person?
Roday.
Yeah?
James Roday. Except Steve Franks is very funny, but I mean, of the cast, I did a series called That's My Bush that was Trey Parker and Matt Stone. It was a live-action sitcom about the Bush White House on Comedy Central. And Trey Parker, on his worst day, was, to me, the funniest person I have ever, and it just would blow my mind what will come out of his mouth offhand. And Roday is the same way. He just is so facile. He's so facile. And his talent is miles wide, but it's not inches deep. It's miles deep, too. And that's rare. Because usually if you get this, you get this. So, it's a visual and you've got a thing, but no, it's a thing. Oh, you got a camera. All right. Okay?
Great. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
guys.